In this exercise, you're to imagine you've been given the brief of scoring this advert. So there's our guy. Okay, he's sad and he's happy. And then we need something to kind of keep everything going and the rhythm continues. Generally a positive, breezy musical accompaniment to what's going to be a descriptive voiceover that we're not going to provide. So it's a musical bed for something to gel this whole thing together. So approaching something like this, I think back, we've all been exposed to countless hours of adverts and TV shows. So what does it remind me of? I think of something nice and breezy. Initially kind of whistling came into mind, like somebody whistling a tune, maybe as they're walking along. But we're not really set up now to record whistling, although that's something we could have done. So maybe a flute. So the flute is a good place to start. Maybe something on a piano. Nice kind of simple notes leading along on a piano. So piano and a flute. Now the piano is going to be fairly easy, and the flute's not going to be too hard either. Now notes wise, a good place to start for something like this is just looking at chords and chord progressions. Now chords, as we've looked at already, are basically a collection of notes from a scale, and they play, maybe 3 is normal, it can be more, sometimes less. 3 notes we'll use in this example are playing at the same time, and they work well together. And a chord progression then is when you move from one chord to the next for a particular musical result, and they tie in closely to emotional effects. So let's go back to the start. So I'm thinking then, if I have a chord progression that kind of gives sadness, and then I change to a happy chord progression here, then I can build everything around those chords. Because once you have a chord progression, it's pretty easy to build elements around it. And especially since we're going to go for something simple here. Now, if you know nothing about chord progressions, that's fine. We can research them very easily. Now, we're going to do this in the scale of C major, because it's the handiest one next to A minor, because C major uses all the white keys, though it has a much more kind of positive upbeat feel. Now if I go back to live, get rid of the video. Now I have the chords for C major here, and you can see a bit of quick looking online and you'll find the names of the chords. Okay, so you have C, that's the root, and the second one is D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and you can find out what notes are in those just as easily. Now, chord progression will be using these in different orders for a particular effect. So I want a kind of a sad chord progression and I want a happy chord progression. Again, go back to the internet. 10 essential chord progressions. Okay, I'll put the link on the video here. Okay, so following down this post. Okay, if you read there, this does sound happy. A minor, F, C, G. Okay, so that's going to be my happy chord progression. Okay, it's used a lot. Remember, we're not trying to be Radiohead here, so something that's used a lot can be perfect. Okay, here's another happy sounding one. Okay, this one sounds sad. Okay, this could be what we want. So if we have a chord progression of A minor, G, F, G at the start, and then we move to this one, A minor, or yeah, C, here's this one, C, A minor, F, G. That's another happy one. Okay, so they're the ones we're going to use. that's how I found them. I'm not saying this is the Bible for chord progressions. I'm saying Google this. This is just the place I came across. Okay, so here are my chords. As you can see, they have 3 notes in each. And I need something for these chords to play. So I'm going to find my grand piano. Now, I'm going to ignore this device for a second. I'm just going to turn that off and just have a listen to the sad chord progression first. So, I've written this down somewhere. This is A minor, G, F, G. Okay, so that's my sad chord progression. Well, the happy one is oops. Okay, so they're the 2 basic chord progressions. Now, I don't want to be triggering these again and again and again, so I'm going to use a trick that involves using this screen to build 2 new clips, one for the sad and one for the happy, and consolidate them together or gel them together into new clips. Actually, I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to copy and paste them in, since that's a technique we're all familiar with. So, the sad one first. Okay, A minor. I'm going to copy that. Going to go to the other screen. Here's A minor, G, F, and then G again. Now, I want to play it on this screen, so that means I have to press this button here. Now see the way they come into focus. Now if I want to hear all those together, if I highlight them and press Ctrl L, what I can do is I can make a new clip out of those by just highlighting them all again. Not clicking up on this part, but dragging in here, highlighting across, right clicking, and consolidating. Now, I have a new clip with all my chords on it, and I'm going to rename this sad. Okay, I'm going to copy that and paste it again. Now, I'm just going to turn on the loop, and now I have, and it'll keep looping. Now, same process again, but this time I'm going to get rid of what's here, leave my video alone, and I'm going to go for the happy one. So that's C, A minor. I'll do this a slightly different way just so you can see you can do it. It's kind of quicker, but if you're more comfortable with the copy and pasting, work with that. Okay, so I have record on, and then I'm going C, A minor, F, G. Now, you can see that's where they went, because I had this record on, so everything I played went into this screen. Now, I just need to finish off. I didn't quite go all the way to the edge there, so I can just drag that longer. Now, I don't even have to check this. I can just highlight it all, go consolidate again, which is basically your right click, and but you need it up on the title bar. And whatever is highlighted becomes consolidated. So there's my new clip for happy. Now, just going back a step. If I highlight this wrong, see the way it's not a full 4 bars because I've missed this bit at the edge. So I need just to highlight the whole thing. Now, I'm going to get rid of this again, and you'll see if you record, this happens sometimes, so I just need to fix this. Also, I'm going to turn off this loop button up here is I can just arrange this on the screen just by copying again. So here's the sad one, paste, and I put the happy one after it. Just paste that in. Now let's just see how this works with our video. Okay, I could up the tempo a little bit to get this a bit more on the mark. So, music is too slow. Let's try 114. Okay, see the way we're nearly getting there. So we want these notes to sound just as he lifts up his brand new iPad. Now, so this piano part here is going to keep working till the end. So just keep dragging that out. That's fine. The sad part is only going to come into it once. Now, this alone is pretty dull. So what we could do is break up these chords a bit so it plays a pattern up and down the notes. We do it on 1/8 notes. And you just basically go up and down. And maybe I'll go up the next octave there for this one, for the next C. So you can see I'm only using the notes that are in each chord. I'll go back down to this one there. But in the last one I'll go an octave up. So see that this note here is an A. So after the 3 it goes back to an A, but I'll go up to an A up here. Okay, so you can see, and that'll give this kind of thing. Okay, you can see where I'm going with that, yeah? Now, wouldn't it be great if there was a device that just did this for you automatically? Well, thankfully there is. Because what we were doing there is what's called an arpeggio. And an arpeggio is a broken chord. In other words, types of notes are just played in different sequences, rising or falling and so on. And what we have that does that is an arpeggiator. So this is where this guy comes into it. So the style is up, which is just the way I programmed it there a minute ago. And it's playing quarter notes. Now actually I think I had mine doing 1/8 notes. So okay, it's a bit intense for what we want. Okay, nice and bouncy. Sad. Okay, now it's time to think about other elements. Now what we need is some sort of a bass part to go on here. Now, what I'm going to suggest we do is we use the piano again, but we use long sustained notes, so not these arpeggiated notes which are kind of broken up into quarters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it down here. And a classic thing to do with the bass is to have it just playing the lowest notes on the chords. So I'm just going to go in. Now, in case you're wondering what's happening here, fold is pressed. And when you press fold, it just gets rid of the notes that aren't being used in that specific clip. So I'm going to just leave C for the bass part. I'm going to leave C, A, F, and G because they're the bottom root notes of each chord. Now, at the moment, this is playing nothing, right? So I could have a bass sound in here. So another important things about bass is they need to be in the right octave. Select all these notes, and I'm going to move them down an octave. So if I move down to C2, you can see how that works because they're playing the same notes just in different octaves. But I'm not going to use this bass device. I'm going to send the notes from the bass to this piano. Now I could just load up another piano, but it's a bit wasteful and the computer CPU use will go up. So see the way I still have dots here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the routing here. I'm going to send the MIDI from this track to the piano on this track. So it goes MIDI to, mine's called pad sound. I know the naming of this is wrong. And track in, if I send it to the track in, it'll just go to the arpeggiator. But I wanted to go straight to the piano, so it'll bypass the arpeggiator. Because I'm not going to record a flute, I have two options. I'm going to get rid of this screen for a sec, or this part. I can use a sample, or I can use a MIDI flute. Now, the MIDI flute I have created here, and it's okay. I don't have a keyboard connected currently, but I'll give you a listen to this. And it's actually made out of a sample and a synthesizer, but we needn't worry about that. And also, I just did a quick search in here for flute, and I found some samples. Now, well, that's lovely. I want something very repetitive, so that's why I settled on this one. Now, you don't have to do this, I'm just showing where this all came from. Now, it already tells me that it's an A. Now, it's these two notes I'm looking for. So I'm just dragging these brackets so it just goes around these two notes. This is on repitch, that's what it is. Okay. Okay, so now it's an A, so that matches up with that. Now, you can either work this out from the keyboard, or you can use this tuner device which is in audio effects to figure out how to get the rest of these samples. But I've done them already for you. But basically, if you go 7 semitones down, then see, it's a D. Yeah, it seems to work best on complex, which is just how it manages that pitch shifting. So now I can do my happy and sad loops on the flute, these flute samples. So the happy one again is C, A minor, F, G, C. Okay, so I'm going to start that somewhere around here. Have record on. Now you can copy and paste them if you prefer. Only need to do it once really, because once I have it done, I can consolidate it if I want, but there's no real need because I can just highlight the 4 bars and then just duplicate that across just by going Control D. I want the flutes coming in first because it's less, it's lighter. So just copy 4 bars, paste it, duplicate it. So from bringing that in earlier, I need to push this back so we have a nice staged arrangement. So as a last step then, I can just do a bit of one-fingered playing on top of everything else with the MIDI flute. Okay, the MIDI flute is here, and if I'm in C major, once I find C, maybe this C. Once I go from there, I can't go wrong once I stick to the white keys. And if you do go wrong, you can just do it again. Okay, so I could just go from the start and then pick the best bit. Right, now my track is armed, and I'm going to put the record on at the top. Ditching that bit. Okay, you get the picture. Okay, on to this, probably a bit naff. So this bit here, I might keep some of this. Now, no time for dodgy playing, so let's go into our quantize settings. Fix to the current grid, or maybe we'll go to 1/16. Alright, we'll just do the start. Now, that moves that bang on. Now, probably easiest to edit this bit here. Like this bit is... that bit's okay, so maybe I'll just duplicate that. Also kind of okay. I want to duplicate this bit there. So